I've always been interested in personal development, and I got to a point where it turned into I want to help other people. So coaching is not the first um, topic that I got interested in, but I hit a point at my previous job where I was really feeling I wasn't creating anything, wasn't contributing, and I thought, okay, let me work on personal development again. Let me go back to what really excites me. And at that time, I was browsing around and I came across coaching, and I got a few more info about it, and that felt right. And I think it was something from the heart or the stomach, wherever it comes from, but it was like, this is it. And this is how I started looking around for formal coaching training. The change, I think, is related to the fact that the goal that I had at the beginning was a fake goal. And it's funny for a coach to say that, because we should spot them. But I was trying to get away from something, and that felt like it was the right rational thing to do. I was trying to get away from a full-time job where I wasn't passionate anymore. So the opposite would be the most exciting thing I could do. So being free, just be on my own and coach in total freedom. But again, that was just not the real goal, because that came as a result of my frustration in the previous role. You coach every day, and especially if you work with that person on different projects, etc. You're gonna work with them again, so you'll have the chance to continue your coaching with them if that is what's beneficial for both of you. Sometimes they leave the company and you sort of lose track of them, and that's a possibility. But if they're still around, then you can always find a way to work with them again, especially, and they'll come to you when they have something that bothers them. I would like to get to a point where coaching is actually integral part of everyone's job. So in my company, which is sort of a bit all over the place in terms of coaching, so there's no real internal coaching process at the moment. We're building it up. There's a lot of employees who have never heard about coaching, and managers as well that have never been exposed to the idea of coaching at work. We do have a program that runs and touches on some key points of coaching, but that's not enough. That's the thing. Coaching shouldn't be relegated to the odd one-to-one internal coaching program when you're going through a specific transition. I mean, it's usually reserved for those who don't perform or perform well and you want to keep them there, or those who are changing the role. But that's not enough. There's teams of people that work every day and they never get exposed to coaching and would benefit from that. I see in my company, especially the people that go out and sell to the clients, we do a very specific job. We do market research. So when we go for a brief, we need to understand exactly what the basic need is for our clients. And they might come to us and say, oh, I want to do this, but does it actually answer the question, the business question they have? Are they aware of the business questions they need to answer? So coaching would actually benefit a lot of these people that go out and have to dig deeper than the surface, but they're not equipped with the tools. So they come back and say, oh, the client said they want this. And then I look at it and like, I don't think that's what they really want, because it doesn't make sense. So yes, I would love to see coaching being a daily sort of task or part of your role, regardless of which role you cover, either receiving and giving. Patience.
Really?
A lot of it. A lot of patience, but also the ability of establishing clear boundaries. I think being clear, being very honest and transparent is probably the tool you need the most when you are an internal coach, because boundaries can be very blurred, especially if the person you're coaching also works in your department, because you would have ties with that person. Either they are your senior, your junior, or a colleague in a different team. I don't like to use the word politics, but that kind of looking at the overall relationship within a bigger organism is really important for an internal coach. Because if you spot those mechanisms and those links, then you're able to preempt a lot of the challenges that might come up, especially other people interfering with the coaching for their own personal career reasons. Either because they want to sabotage it, which fortunately is quite rare, or because they see the value of it and they want to help. And they generally want to help, but they don't realize that the way they want to help is actually interfering with the coaching process. Like help, I mean telling people what they're supposed to do in order to get the promotion. What I would tell them is the level of engagement they get from their employees mirrors the level of engagement they put in with their employees. So the more you give, the more you get. And coaching is a massively important way of giving. Because when you offer coaching to someone, you're telling someone, I am extremely interested in your well-being and in your development, but also I trust that you have the capabilities to get there on your own, and I'm just supporting you. I don't need to take you by the hand and be there for you. You're smart enough that when I retire, when I decide to go on holidays, you'll take over and I won't have to be near my phone waiting for a crisis call. I think it's to be very blunt. Just go and ask for it. Because there's not many ads around out there for internal coaches. Because sometimes there are not many programs, internal programs that do require them. But there's nothing stopping you from creating one. I didn't get my internal coach role because there was already a coaching program in place. I got it because the fact that I told everyone that I was a coach met a specific need from a company, which paired with my separate set of skills, which is my day job. So I would say just go and ask for it. The worst answer is no, but if you don't ask, you don't get. Oh, that's I think I wouldn't have this career if it wasn't for Animas. First of all, I chose Animas because I could see myself reflected in their values. Animas is not the only school that I checked out before I decided to train, but Animas is the only school that I considered afterwards, because it totally matched my values of meeting the person in front of you on a human level. As I mentioned in my talk, you show up at work as your complete self. You know, there's no professional Patrick versus personal Patrick. I mean, I show up and I'm grumpy or happy, whatever it is, I show up as I am. And so do the employees. It's important, I think, to get a training that matches that point of view. Because if we forget even for a moment that an employee or someone who receives coaching is not a human being, then we are overlooking a massive part of their life. And coaching won't work. It simply won't work. That becomes training, because then you tell people what they're supposed to do, how they're supposed to do it, etc. And we know that training works up to a certain point, but training can't motivate you. Training can't really get you to engage with your job, your team, your colleagues, and your superiors.